What is going on, my YouTube Pride family? It's your boy Aydian here, and this is episode 3 of Top Surgery Tips. I put a call out to you guys on my Instagram and Snapchat, as well as Twitter. If you're not following me on all of those things, you should be if you ever want to get into one of these Q&As. They're all below in the description box. Otherwise, I got a lot, like over 115 comments. So let's just jump right into this Q&A. Alright, so I've got everything on my handy dandy iPhone, and what I did is I screenshotted everybody's questions, and then I made some highlights on some of the ones I'm going to answer and stuff like that. These videos can get extremely long, so I'm going to try to not make it a 2-part video. It might turn into one, but let's just start with this video. I'm going to pretty much put a timer on, and what I'm going to do is, because these top surgery tip videos are so in-depth, I'm going to answer the questions on here as quick and as easeful as possible so that you get the information, but most of these questions are going to be dived into more heavily in upcoming episodes. So just stay tuned if there's something you want more in-depth analysis on, questions, answers, it will be coming. But like I said, just so this video isn't like some 22-minute long video, I'm going to try to just kind of time out 5 to 7 minutes to answer as many questions as possible. Alright, so I'm literally going to put a timer on my phone. Let's go in here and let's put a timer on. Let's start with 6 minutes and see what we get out of that. Ready, go. Back to the photos. So first question up from Lucy Oakley. What type of surgery did you have and how long did it take for scars to go away? Do you have to put a certain lotion on or something? You can't see them now. They look great. Thank you. Also, Gauged Guy. I'm currently 5 weeks post-op. What did you do for your post-op care as far as scars? So I'm gonna have a very detailed video all about post-op scar care, but just to answer this really quickly, I got double incision top surgery from Dr. Garamoni roughly in 2012, summer of 2012, so we're coming up to 5 years post-op. Wow, that went by really quick. And I used ScarGuard, which was suggested by Dr. Garamoni. Then I switched to strips, which I really didn't like, and I'll get more details in that in the future video. And then I really stuck with Mederma, and that worked really well for me. I can't find this question, but it made me think of it when I was looking over these questions. Somebody asked me if like my doctor made my chest look like this, like if they put something in my pecs to make them look like pecs, and the answer is no. Follow up with that question is, I got a lot of questions. It's like, is it good to work out before or after? And I've answered this in previous Q&As, but I'll answer it again for you really quickly. I have got mixed reviews, just like the other one. Should I get top surgery pre-T or post-T? And the thing is like working out before or working out after, I heard doesn't really do too much of a difference. But what the difference is you will get the aesthetic look of a muscular, masculine pec. Okay, if you start training beforehand than if you start training after. I've seen both. I've seen myself who started training before get top surgery, have amazing results kind of pretty quickly, besides scarring and stuff, because I had muscle underneath, but I've also seen the opposite. I've seen people who had no real pec muscle before they got their surgery, and then started working out, and now their chests look amazing. I like this question a lot. A lot of questions were duplicated. This was one of them, is what is something that surprised you about top surgery? I had no idea actually, like, how delicate skin is and how stretching it can, it can stretch a lot, and how pigmentation really works with the sun and stuff like that. That was something nobody talked about, was like pigments and stretching and stuff. You were just expected to have scars that were stretched, and I really didn't want to. So that was one thing that I kind of didn't expect, was like having to worry so much about the sun and the stretching of my scars. I know it sounds like, oh well, wouldn't that be something everybody thinks about, is their scar stretching, but I don't think people realize how much movement actually makes your scars stretch. So this was another common one, is about when you can work out. My approach was very slow, and some people might think that it was too slow, but for me it worked out really well. My doctor said that after 6 weeks I can start moving around more, alright, and I can lift things over 5 pounds. So at 6 weeks I started going on walks. Actually, 4 to 6 weeks. So I'm pretty sure at 4 weeks, I started just taking nice little walks, not jogs, just walks on the beach. When I was living in Florida, I would walk on the sand. It's a little tougher to walk on sand for like 20 minutes or a half hour, 3-4 times a day, a week, not a day, a week. Then when I hit 6 weeks, I started doing a little bit of a jog. So I would do a slight little jog, trying not to move the upper part of my body, a little jog on the sand instead of just walking. Then when I hit 8 weeks is when I actually returned back to the gym. I would say that between my 8 weeks, which is about 2 months, between 2 months and 6 months, I was very, very restricted in my movement. I didn't do shoulders at all. I did nothing that was above the arm. So I would do anything that would have my arms like this, but nothing above. And I didn't even do flies. I did nothing that, it was pretty much here to here, and then about here to here. That was about it. Flies, you go all the way out. I didn't go all the way out. I probably stayed around here and here. So that was all the movement I did. And then after 1 full year, every month after 6 months, I slowly worked my way back up. And after 1 full year is when I actually did my first pull-up. So I was all the way extended, all the way out and everything like that. And that's when I started to actually start getting in motion. What can I do to find surgeons that specialize in top surgery in my area? This was in the past video. I got a lot of questions like this, or like what surgery should I go for? Check out my last video, episode number 2, answers a lot of those questions. Episode number 1 goes over all of the different types of surgeries you can get, which was another question I got a lot of. What are the best questions to ask during your consult? Again, I'll make a video about this too, but I think some of the main questions are, you want to see results of past people. That's what you want to see. And you don't want to just see 2, you don't want to just see 4, you want to see all of them. You want to see the good, the ugly, the in-between, everything. How did you deal with pain? I personally took the medication prescribed to me, the oxycodone or whatever it's called, for the first 48 hours, like on a clock, for like the 4 or 8 or whatever your medicine is gonna say. I literally would look at the time and then change it, like take the medicine at that every 6 hours or whenever it was supposed to be. That's really how I handled the pain. I did that for the first 48 hours, and then every night I took oxycodone or whatever the heck it was, at least for the first 4 to 5 days every night, just so I could sleep, just so I didn't have to worry about it in general. How is your dysphoria since top surgery? My dysphoria since top surgery, I really think at first, when I first started hormones, my dysphoria was like my voice and my facialness, like my lack of facial hair. And then I think after that change, I went to top surgery. It was all about my chest, wanting top surgery. And now my dysphoria is really well. It's just, I think a lot of people, after you get top surgery, you notice what's below your top surgery, which is your, either like your hips, your love handles. I think that's really where my dysphoria comes in, and then if you can get that under control, then I think you just go even further south. Hey, I'm in an early stage of my transition. I'd like to know if it's more clever to do top surgery before or after going on T. This was a huge question. Should I get top surgery before or after going on T? And so these are the 2 things that I've learned and had discussions about. There's really no direct answer, okay? But the one thing I can say is that I've heard surgeons say, mixed reviews, right? So some of them say, like, if you start before, you'll actually, you'll reduce your breast tissue already in your chest, and that can be really helpful for your dysphoria, for binding and stuff like that. But then that also creates a lot of loose skin, and loose skin is what can prevent you from possibly maybe getting keyhole, or the difference between like getting keyhole and getting double mastectomy. So that's something to keep in mind. But then I've also heard the opposite, right? I've also heard that if you get top surgery before you start hormones, you'll actually reduce some of that extra fat that's hidden in your chest tissue, breast tissue, and because when you start T, all your fat just gets redistributed. So what I've heard is that if you get top surgery first, you're kind of like some small percentage of the fat that's stored in your breasts won't be put like somewhere else on your body. So it really depends on you. Do you even want to take T, or do you just want top surgery? I don't think that either or is going to benefit you more or less per se. How many days till your surgery tape fell off? I would say, right, it was like 2 weeks, he said, and I remember one side was completely off after 2 weeks, and then the other side was a few extra days. What's something that no one ever told you about recovery that you think people should know? It's uncomfortable. I think people should know that. It's uncomfortable. I was extremely uncomfortable for like the 4th and 5th, 6th, 7th day of wearing the dressing that I was wearing. My back hurt. Like, it wasn't the pain of the surgery that was like getting at me. It was the uncomfortableness, the like lack of being able to sleep for long periods of time, like because you're constantly waking up because you can't sleep on your side, you have to sleep on your back. Just like the concept of not being able to like stretch, to be like, go like this, you know what I mean? That is what was the most, oh, there's our 6 minutes. That time went by quick, huh? That was the most annoying like thing that nobody talked about. And I have an old video, if you go back, talking exclusively about my uncomfortableness. I'm gonna do 2 more, and then I'm gonna have to make this into a 2-parter because I just don't want this to be some 22-minute long video. I want you to be able to get the information quickly, so let's keep going. I will be taking care of my son's for the recovery part. Do you have any tips or suggestions for caretakers? Boredom is going to set in. People are going to be bored. It's really the truth. And the fact of the matter is, like, you know, finding something that's entertaining, you know, so maybe there's a Netflix series, some movies you can watch, a game, a puzzle you can get into, something like that. Even like online, I don't play video games, so like a PlayStation game, Xbox, stuff like that. So that type of stuff. But one thing I'm gonna really highly suggest is don't let them do things that they shouldn't be doing. So like if they want to reach across the table, just don't let them reach across the table for the salt. Just hand them the damn salt. That's gonna be one big key thing, is like reminding them, like, listen, you can do it, but I'm here to help you. So just let me get the damn salt for you and give it to you. Why stretch? You know what I mean? And another thing to remember is like movement will be really good as far as like, you know, not upper movement, but like lower movement. It'll be really good for the person you're taking care of to like get a little walk in after 3 or 4 days of being on the couch, you know. In those first 3 or 4 days, you want to really chill out, let them chill out, but definitely go for a little 5-minute walk in the morning, a little 5-minute walk at night, that type of stuff. You know, you will get fatigued pretty quickly, but that's a really good thing to remember, is to help them reach for things and to remember that they're going to be bored as hell, and also just a little bit of movement towards the tail end of that first week of recovery will be really helpful. All right, one more. How long did you have to wear the hospital binder after surgery? So the hospital, the binding after surgery, it depends on the doctor. Some doctors will have you wear it for, you know, the first week, and then you get your drains out, and then extended weeks. But my surgeon, Dr. Garamoni, just wrapped the shit out of me in ace bandages that felt like they were miles long. Just wrapped me up in that bad boy, and I was there from when I first got out of surgery. I woke up with it on, pretty much had it on all the way for, I think, my recovery. I had to drive back. It was about, literally, it was either the 6th or the 8th day. I remember it was like not exactly 1 week. So it was either 6 or 8 days I wore my post-op binding stuff. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna cut off the video here, and I'm going to make a part 2 to this, and I'll actually just post that tomorrow just to make everybody's life easier. I know that we'll all want to see the ending, and I want to get to as many questions as possible. So let's end this video here. Again, please check out the first and second episode of Top Surgery Tips. This part 2 of this Q&A will be out tomorrow. Peace.